All right, welcome back to a new episode of a new real estate roadmap podcast. I almost forgot the name of my own podcast. That's interesting. But today we have a really cool guest, my buddy Alok Gupta. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I met him, and then he's going to do his intro, and then we're going to dive into some really fun stuff, AI stuff, meta stuff, social media stuff, video stuff. It's going to be a super cool day. So I actually met Alok through partner, his business partner, I should say. I don't know about relationship wise, but I met him at a Alex Hermosi acquisition.com headquarters events or one of those workshops. And I met him there and we were just kind of talking shop about, business in general. And his business partner was mentioning to me about how they did a lot of AI stuff with reels and videos and all that jazz. And we just started talking about the business in general, and we had a solid connection. So Yash introduced me. His name's Yash. Introduced me to Alok, and Alok, look, he runs the show at his company, which he's going to introduce in a second. And we have some really fun stuff to talk about today. So you want to say hi to the people, Alok?
Absolutely, Chris. Thank you so much for having me on here. Sorry I missed you in Vegas. Heard it was a blast, but great to chat with you and the rest of the community. Team and everyone listening, really nice to meet you. My name is Alok Gupta. I'm the co-founder, CEO of AutoReel. Grew up in Silicon Valley, so I come more so from a technical background, having been a product manager on Facebook ads before, as well as an engineering leader at Snapchat. But I've invested pretty much every penny I've ever made into real estate as an investor over the last decade or so, long term in Airbnbs and even here in Austin, Texas. And so, as you can kind of imagine, combining my background and expertise with my day job, as well as being a real estate investor, we've been building something at the intersection, which is AutoReel, which is what we're here to kind of discuss around the genesis and what we're here to solve. I'll table that for later. But Chris, back to you.
Yeah, well, you think we're going to talk about that, but you just sparked my curiosity and something else first. All right, so Airbnb stuff. Tell me about your
Yeah.
investments with Airbnb because I have a reason for asking, by the way.
Yeah, sure. So it's now the pandemic. I'm living in the Bay Area. Property started at $1 million and above. Can't get any cash flow. And so looking outside of the Bay Area, I had a family friend that invested in La Quinta, like in Palm Springs. And back then the entry point was in the low 300s and you're making 1 to 2K profit a month. And so to diversify from just the Bay Area, me as well as some of my family members also, we purchased a few condos down there. And so they're just cash flowing Airbnbs under 1 week long rentals, snowbirds, people coming through the fall and winter, and they come for the sports seasons like tennis and golf and things like that. Great retirement community. It's been
So
great.
you can Airbnb condos out there, really?
Absolutely. It's like a resort community, a dozen pools, guard gated, and we don't even have a property manager.
That sounds similar to a timeshare, no?
I'm sure there's some timeshare options out there. I mean, ours is, it's just like the bottom floor condo. There's, I think, 2 floors. And then there's some that are condos and others that are full on townhouses with garages and whatnot. But that's not something that we needed just for our Airbnb situation.
Dude, that's awesome. So when you didn't know this before coming on, actually I didn't know this before last week. It's funny, we had our office Christmas party for a real estate team, and one of the newest member of our team, I didn't notice about her. She joined us and she wanted to learn residential real estate from me. So, we put our business plan together and all that. Anyways, we're talking, we're having a couple drinks, and I'm like, well, tell me about your previous, like, what'd you do before this? She goes, oh, I managed and licensed and set up Airbnb properties for ex agent who's a really big agent in the area. I'm like, get out of here. So hold on. Anyways, I'm not going to get the whole story. But the point is, she was talking to me about it. I'm like, that's a really good idea, representing people for Airbnb stuff. Cause there's, unlike residential real estate, or not residential, I should say, end user real estate, homeowner real estate, which is very emotional,
Mhm.
right? There's no emotion in that game,
It's
right?
all stats. It's
Stats
all
and
just
numbers.
stats and numbers. Exactly. I think Airbnbs and multifamily, you don't even look at the home. You just look at the stats and numbers.
It's just numbers. And I love that because, I'm a personal guy. But when you're dealing with, 20, 30 listings at a time, and there's a lot of emotions, and then you have emotions of your agents, and it's a real residential real estate's an emotional game.
Yep.
And when she was talking about how, she was like, no, yeah, just numbers. But I'm like, why the hell did you come over here? Anyways, So I'm really excited because today was we have we're scheduled out the next 3 months, twice a week, 4 hours per day, building out a new avenue as real estate brokerages from her experience and her knowledge on Airbnb properties down here in Florida. So I'm kind of
Amazing.
excited about that.
That's exciting.
I don't know anything about it. Well, I did do today. I learned in the 4 hours today, but
No, it's awesome. It's exciting. And again, don't want to get off a tangent, but I met somebody here in Austin just a few weeks ago. And even though they live in San Diego, they're actually buying across the country close to up and coming just national parks. And I asked, hey, why don't you just consolidate in one place? Like what I've been doing as well as my family, we consolidate in one community so you can reuse you can use the same operations, right? And
sure.
scale that out. And he's like, no, you don't want to cannibalize yourself. So he's diversified across different national parks. 100 to 250K entry points is the entry point, which is much more easy to digest compared to California. He's cash flowing a few grand on each of those, and he owns 30 doors. And he's my age. So I'm like, Jeff, are you cash flowing 50 to 60,000 a month on these Airbnbs? He's like, yeah, exactly. And I don't have any meetings. I don't do any work. I just purchased these. I'm building equity, but more importantly, I'm getting this cash flow that's directly coming in. So I was like, all right, put a pin in that in my head to be more strategic around this.
Well, you know what? You found your guy in Florida, man. So, yeah, we have this whole game plan mapped out across these two desks in our office, and we're diving into the whole thing. We're going to build this whole. We want to build a perfect ecosystem for anyone who wants to buy Airbnb down here. It's like just like a one stop shop, plug and play,
Yep.
right? So yeah. Anyways, I'm excited about that. That's not what we're talking about today, but hey, that's how podcasts go.
Yeah.
But Alok, when I first spoke to you, it was actually just like this. It was a Google meeting type of thing. You told me that you worked for Snapchat and Meta. How did that happen? What was your history with them? And yeah, that's what I want to know.
Sure. I'll give a little bit of a background here. So for me, grew up in Silicon Valley, went to school for computer engineering, but as a traditional software engineer, you work on how do we build things, not what. And so found out, through trial and error that there's this role called product management, which focuses on what do we build. And the TLDR is literally talk to customers and get feedback. But there's this glorified title. And so I was like, all right, I want to do that. That's going to help me build a business and do my own startup one day. And so joined back then it was Facebook. They had a really exclusive product management program called RPM, Rotational Product Manager. So they get about 10 or 20,000 applicants every year. And my year, they accepted 7. And so I was like, holy crap, I didn't
Wow.
think I'd even make it this far. I got to do this job.
Sure.
And so I took it. I was the only one that didn't go to Harvard, Yale, Princeton type of school. Definitely felt like I was biting off more than I could chew, but it was an awesome experience just working with some of the most world class people and figuring out how to build and ship products to hundreds of millions and billions of people. And so that was an awesome ride. Although I got put on Facebook ads. So as a new grad, you're hoping I'm going to work on Messenger or Instagram, really
Sure.
sexy features you can brag to your friends. And I got put on Facebook Audience Insights. And as a 22-year-old, I'm like, what is this? And basically, it's a tool Facebook Ads provides. It's part of Ads Manager to basically allow creative strategists to plan out, right, for the upcoming ads and campaigns that we have. What are the current trends and insights that are resonating with our target audience? So for Nike, it's not just that our target audience likes running and yoga. An actual interesting trend that they found was that there's this trend of goat yoga and it's been spiking in popularity across demographics they care about. And they ended up launching some ads featuring goat yoga. And I just recommended that we do that as like a team offsite. So we did that. We drove like an hour and a half out of town. We did goat yoga as like a team offsite, which was an interesting insight. So that was my first stint at Facebook. And then after about a year, I missed the building part of things, right? I think it was great to talk to users and understand what do people want and how do we build things at scale. But I need to actually go and do the thing. And AI was not there. You had to sit down and actually code. And so I took a step back, cold turkey, and joined a no-name startup called Rubric. Rubric actually was exploding in growth. This is in between Facebook and Snapchat, but I'm just tying the bridges here. I spent 2.5 or 3 years at Rubric and worked harder than I had ever worked in my entire life and learned more than any other time I can think back on. And after 3 years, I got burnt out during the pandemic. The company had grown a ton. So from 300 people to over 3,000 people. They went public last year. Actually, they're a $20 billion company now. So we'll have to chat to discuss some more Airbnbs soon, Chris. But
No, I've actually never heard of Rubrik, and I know I'm kind of embarrassed by it. So while you're talking, I opened up a
that's good.
Google tab.
That's actually good, and that's why I'm holding, because I'm like, if they're 20 billion and people don't know about them, I think there's a ton of room for them to run. So I haven't sold a single share. But after getting
Rubrik.
burnt out, yeah, Rubrik.
Yeah, I see it.
I think they became like a unicorn, a $1 billion company in about 6 quarters or so. So they're kind of like the B2B enterprise darling of Silicon Valley for data storage and security purposes back in 2016, 2017. They just had to blow out earnings as well. So now they're doing like 1.5 billion per year. And one of the product lines I originally built and started didn't feel like much at the time, but now it's one of the fastest growing products there. And it's doing 100 million ARR just on that. So there, I'm like, okay, now I can
Yeah,
build and ship products that are doing, at the time, single digit millions and now hundreds of millions. I can go and do, my own startup if I really want, but I'm just burnt out and I want to try something new during the pandemic. So joined Snapchat, where I spent 3-4 years there as an engineering leader, first on ads and basically around the sales operations side, but then switched over to Maps, delivering products directly to consumers. And then finally, after 3-4 years, I was like, all right, it's time to go do my entrepreneurial journey I've always wanted to do. I've waited far too long. And that's when we got started with AutoReel around summer or fall of 2023 is when we first started talking to just realtors that I've worked with through all my investments to start getting feedback and understanding if this would be valuable. And that was just one idea amongst dozens where I got
sure.
no replies on all the other ideas around to, products for YouTube creators, products for analytics teams at B2B enterprises. And then I called just a roster of realtors I had on my phone, and I had like a dozen yeses in one afternoon. And we started building AutoReel the next day.
Yeah, and then and now it's grown to be a pretty successful company from what I gather.
Yeah. So even though we've been working on this behind the scenes since 2023, we only started taking this to market last fall or so once we got that holy crap reaction from customers. And in general, you need to be 10 times better than the current solution in order to have a product that can actually emerge from 0 to 1. So we got that reaction last fall. And since then, we've now taken this to market. We've had over now 25,000 real estate professionals use this, and now over 85,000 property videos created with their platform to date, which is incredibly exciting.
No, it totally is. And just for everyone listening, Alok came and did a guest training at the at my training course. By the way, let me do a little plug. If you want to apply to be a member, the link's in the description. Gotta get my plug in before yours. No,
Yeah.
but but no, he did a really good training on to our coaching clients live. It was really cool, and I purchased it, obvious reasons. And I'm gonna talk about why. And this isn't a sales pitch. This is big reason why I wanted him on to talk to my clients about it. Video. I mean, you've heard this before. If you're a realtor, you got to do video. You just got to do it. As a matter of fact, I have 14 different types of video buckets on my list here that I am working through on a rotation. So if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook or even TikTok, you're going to see all these different types of videos on rotation. So anytime there's a tool out there that can quickly and easily make video for your listings, in addition to your regular listing videos, that can just add to that bench of content that you have and quickly, yeah, for me, it was a no-brainer, and I said that without even explaining exactly what his product is, so maybe we should do that a little bit.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So
I can do a quick one or two liner, but
okay, cool.
what AutoReel does is we create beautiful cinematic property tours for your home, for your rental, or for your property that's about to be on sale. And we do this from just the static listing photos that you already have, that you already use to market the property. But as Chris said, videos just perform better. Listings with video get over 400% more increase in showings than listings without. And that helps reduce your days on market by up to 30%, is what we've seen. And so that's the product that Chris has been talking about to basically bake into his content strategy to really scale out these property marketing videos in just minutes rather than spending a week and hundreds of dollars to get the same thing.
Yeah, because one of the issues we run in as real estate agents is for the ones who do listing home tours, is that we basically have one video, right? And if you wanted to do an update, say even if you want to do a coming soon, or if you wanted to do under contract or something, and you want some type of different video content for that same property, because you don't want to be redundant to your, your people putting something out again. It was a really cool thing. So what I love about what AutoReel does and what blew my mind is that if you have a picture of, say, a fire pit or a pool or something like that, or a fan even, it would turn them into motion, which blew my mind. I'm like, so okay, let me try to explain a little more what that means. If you have a picture of a pool, and then you put that picture inside of the auto reel, it would kind of pan across that pool from left to right or up and down, whatever it is. However, the coolest part is the water actually moves. And I was like, whoa. And my buddy Alex, who was in that training, who purchased at the same time I did, I sent him one that I did, and he goes, "Yeah, man, look what I did." He's like, "Do you see the reflection on the glass on, whatever it was?" I forgot exactly what he said. He said there was something that what the reflection of something was added to a glass surface that wasn't there in the original photo. I'm like, "Get out of here." And I noticed that the one I did, there was a ceiling fan and it was moving, right? And I'm like, "Hold on, this was a picture. How is that fan moving?" Like, anyways, it blew my mind. It was better quality than I expected. No offense, you just never know.
No, totally get it.
And I was like, "This is cool." So we are doing, so my team is our admins for all of our, listings, like I just said. We're just kind of pumping out these little pieces of video and giving it to the agents on our team to use for their content, whether that's stories or direct posts. So yeah, that's your product is awesome. Well, you have more to your product, but I don't want to steal
No,
your
no, no.
thunder.
I think that's really the gist of it, right? Like the end goal is to get that beautiful property marketing video that you can then publish across all your channels, and everything else is just different layers, additive to help make it a more engaging piece of content.
Yeah, one thing you're not saying, which you should say, in my opinion, is that there are these AI avatars of, so if you want to, okay, there's a couple things I want to say here actually before I say that. I recommend if you have the time, let's say if you want to do a home tour video, right? But you don't want to necessarily be speaking on camera in front of the house. You're not comfortable. A lot of people aren't. What you can do is now you can take these from AutoReel's video of and then you could put you in front of the green screen or even you just in a bubble or something. Record yourself talking about the property on camera in your own space, not in front of a cameraman around other people. Mess up 1,000 times, it doesn't matter. And then you can just superimpose yourself on top of that and make your own little home tour. For example, like let's say you're in the corner of the video and then it's talking about the fireplace. And but you could just be like, oh, look, and by the way, I love this fireplace. I can just imagine having hot cocoa here during the winter, right? Like you can do something like that. Oh, and then look at this. This is the kitchen. This is real granite stone, not that fake stuff you get at Lowe's. This is the real stuff, but whatever. So you can do that as a listing home tour. And if you do that, you're already ahead of 91% of agents because only 9% of real estate agents use any video at all. And most of those videos are actually those cheap, like panorama, like,
Live shows.
yeah, they're slideshows. They're not videos. They call them videos.
Yeah, the Ken Burns effect. I think that's been around since the 80s or 90s.
Since
So
Ken Burns.
yeah, since Ken Burns himself. Yeah.
Yeah, hence the name. Yeah, so I love there's a lot of opportunities there if, and so you again, if you have a price reduction, you can just go then, "By the way, we just improved the price on this listing here. Now this deal is even better." So many options to do. But that was not what I was originally talking about. I was talking about the cool features within AutoReel, which I'm excited about for what's there and what's coming. Let's say maybe you don't even want to do that. Well, there's avatars and there's quote unquote fake humans, and you can pick a voice and a human and put in a script and they'll read it and superimpose them on the screen. Love it.
Yep.
Hopefully in the future, and I'm kind of putting a look on the spot here, he can make us as fake avatars and then
Yep.
put us in front.
It's on the roadmap is to put you as an avatar and actually put you in the room itself, right? So like right now, you can use from a library of these AI avatars. You can use that, or you can upload a static photo of yourself, and we'll bring that to life. And I think you were alluding to some of that. But I'm hoping that next year, if you give us an actual, photo or a collection of photos of yourself from different angles, we'll be able to actually take you and put you in the property tour as well. So we're always chasing where the puck is headed rather than where it is right now. But just a few things that we're thinking about as we want to find ways to allow realtors to not only bring the listings to life but bring themselves to life. So not only are they using these pieces of property videos to acquire leads and inquiries for current listings, but to win that next set of listings, you have to put yourself out there. And this is one of the ways that you can do so without leaving your office, right? And for women, I've actually heard it's nice and advantageous for them to not have to put on makeup because that can add some time to their routine and schedule
I
for
hate
women.
putting on my makeup, man. I get it. I get it.
Once it's
So
part of the schedule, I realize as guys we're blessed to not have to worry about that aspect, I guess.
so on our team, and it's funny you say that. Our team, we do group home tours, video tours where I get multiple people on the team on there for a number of reasons. But when I put out there like, "Hey, we have a new listing video coming up," the women always take forever to respond because they're looking at their hair schedule, their nails, and all this stuff. I'm like, guys are just like, "Yeah, let's go," right?
Let's go right now.
Yeah, I look at that. Like I'm bushy right now. If you guys are watching the video of this, or if you're,
You're looking
you
good,
see it,
Chris.
I don't
You're
know.
looking
I'm kind of bushy, man. But we guys don't care. But females, they want to get all cute and pretty, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them.
good.
So, okay, I want to ask one more question, and then I'm gonna cut you loose. But I got another one for you.
Sure.
AI. I read an interesting article today, and then I read it a second time to my wife because I thought it was very, very interesting. The future of AI, and and how you see this in marketing. So this article was talking about how it was it interviewed the owner of, gosh, it's escaping, was it Patrick? How do you say it?
Oh,
Anthropic. Jeez
Anthropic.
Louise, I can't even speak my
Yeah, yeah,
language.
the AI
Y-
company, Anthropic.
Yeah, Anthropic. So the article there was about the interview with Anthropic, and the owner of the company was saying that between 2027 and 2030, there would be almost no human like thinking work at all. Like no white collar work, no like tech skills needed. Everything's automated. It would just be service industries. And even that eventually is going to get replaced. Now, that's not what I wanted to ask you about, but I was just curious. But before 2027 and 2030, where do you see the future of AI within marketing, especially in what you're offering?
Yeah, I think just touching on the point earlier, I think everyone right now wants to call out their big bet so they can look back and say, "Ha,
Yeah.
I was right," or "Ha, we were right but wrongly timed." So I think right now everyone's throwing out bets, things like that. Right now AI was supposed to take over everyone's jobs. We're not supposed to have a job, but we haven't seen any of that happen. Just our jobs have become different. And that happens for us as well at AutoReel. And so the way that AI tools can help you with marketing today is it can help accelerate a lot of the kind of grunt work, the rote, repetitive work that you do. Probably 70 or 80% of any work is the grunt work, redundant work that you need to do to get there. The final 20% is what really differentiates, Chris Cusi from another real estate leader, right? Or AutoReel from some other, product or tool. And so for us, the way we're also leveraging AI for our own marketing is using AI to just accelerate our volume and our output, but also just the time to that initial kind of draft of the asset that we have, a static, a video, whether it's for marketing purposes, ads, or just marketing our product on the platforms. And so all the humans on our team, right? We haven't let go of anyone. I'm actually looking to hire more people, specifically around marketing. 2 or 3 more marketing hires are needed. But I expect everyone to use AI to do the 70% of the grunt work with AI. And then they spend all their time on the last 20 or 30%, which is what differentiates us. And I think in an era where a lot of people are just using AI and letting it rip without their own touches, people can tell now. And it's kind of corny or
Oh,
cringy.
yeah.
And so we
Mhm.
take that, we take the nuggets, but we dial it back to something that's more human. And now just being human and being real and making mistakes is a way that we differentiate ourselves in an era where everything just feels very copy pasta, copy paste. So there's pros and cons to all of this. But
Yeah,
hopefully I addressed the question.
you could spot AI, if you're familiar with it pretty quickly, you know? Um, yeah, awesome.
No more dashes. Even though I used to use dashes, I try to use fewer dashes because AI loves the M dashes.
Oh, yeah, and you have to go in there and please remove all of the dashes,
Yeah,
right?
replace it with dot 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 so it feels human.
Or, yeah, like a
And
period. You
everyone wants to be human and approachable, friendly but a leader and a thought leader, but make it human. This is your prompt.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, yeah, so, I mean, it's gonna be an interesting, couple years for sure. And on the point on AI in general, what I was talking to my wife about while we were driving to the office this morning, like people have been scared of things our entire existence, right? When they came out with the car, the horse and buggy's going to go away and it's in the end of the world. And, all of a sudden people don't need a guy sitting in the elevator pressing floors for them. We don't need telephone operators, and electricity came and people freaked out over, whatever. I guess they did. I don't know. I remember when microwaves. I don't remember when microwaves came out, but I remember like we were old enough. It's embarrassing to say when microwaves were somewhat relatively new, and I remember my grandparents not trusting them. Right,
Yep.
right, and maybe they're right. I don't know. It hasn't been long enough. Maybe we are cooking our bodies, but the point is, every time tech comes out, every time through the course of history, people freak out because people are scared of uncertainty and lack of clarity. So they rather just stay where they are and never expand because that's what they know. People are afraid of the unknown. It's just human genetics. So I think we're gonna be okay. And if not, we'll figure it out.
Yep. And I think that's the opportunity, right? I think in general, when there's these moments, there's like a K shaped outcome, whether it's black swan events like the pandemic, or there's, the AI movement, the mobile movement, cars, and so forth. And so with the K, the people that are headed up and to the right are the ones that are trying to figure out, shooting their shot, failing a bunch, but finding, a few areas where it works and they get a lot of success out of it. And especially by being early as an adopter, right? Think even YouTube and video and content creation, right? Um, then there's the downside of the K, which is to your point, Chris, the naysayers, the ones who are throwing all the fear, uncertainty, doubt, and have their head in the sand, right? And those
Yeah.
are the ones that are getting left behind in this era, and we'll see them again in 5 years, right? And they'll kind of see where they stand compared to the folks that did adopt these tools early and often.
You make a good point. My very first class. Okay. We keep going on these rabbit holes because I like talking to you. You're a cool guy. But my very first class that I ever taught, it was. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Oh wait, their interest rates are just gotta see. I shouldn't look at the alerts on my computer. Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, said he's going to drop the interest rates, and that caught my eye. Anyways, that's content. I got to do content on that.
Yep.
Anyhow, um, I was asked to teach a class years ago. I think it was like 2012 or 13, my very first class, and I was asked to how I used Facebook at the time to generate business. And the quick story behind that was when I started getting really into full time into real estate in 2011, I didn't have money for a CRM. I didn't even know what that meant. And I didn't have a database. So I really leveraged the algorithm of Facebook in a very systematic way. I learned the algorithm for what it was then. And I actually still go through the process today and I teach it because it still works. Um, anyhow, when I was teaching people about leveraging Facebook at that time, I'm gonna tell you, man, at least 3/4 of the room. Again, this is 2012, this is like 13, 14 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not as prevalent as it is now. So it was relatively new then. I'm telling you, man, 3/4 of the room were like, "I'm not doing that. I'm not doing any of that. Nope, not gonna do it." I'm like, "What are you gonna do? Postcards? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, I just told you how
Yeah.
this is scaling. Like, this is not going away. No, no, no. I refuse to learn." And what happens? That happens. That's so common in people. They think if they avoid what's happening, things will be okay.
Yeah.
And that's just not how it works. You're not gonna change humanity with your will.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't wanna know that I don't wanna believe this is true, so I'm not gonna learn it.
I'm
It's
gonna
just
put myself in the closet and it's not happening. Everything is fine.
like, when you get sad, you can go onto your desk and you cry. Everything will be okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
now you look back, Chris, and now it's like, wow, those were the good old days, right? Those were the good old days, and there's so much more opportunity. And it's just gotten harder now to, use Facebook to build your business,
It
grow
is,
leads,
yeah.
and
It was
stand out,
it
right?
was a lot easier then because no one did it. No
Yeah.
one did it. Right?
Yeah.
But now the opportunity is in well, the opportunity's been in video content for about a couple years now because still not a lot of people gravitate into it. But as the younger generations are getting in the game, that's being, they're adding, it's changing. The older generations are retiring out. But that's something to worry about because there's going to be this AI boom, and you just gotta stay on top of what's new and what's working with advertising and marketing, and just do it.
Yep.
Right. I'm leveraging podcasts this year, even though that's not a new medium. It is a relatively new medium for realtors, though. So, you know,
Yep. And for myself too. I'll have to look into it next year.
we can talk about it. I have yeah, but I know you had to go. Have to go. I also have to go. It was awesome talking with you. But you have a product. Might want to tell people how they can get it. That might be a good idea.
Sure. So we are AutoReel. It's autoreelapp.com. And as a viewer or listener to the podcast, you get a free 7-day trial, as well as an exclusive 25% discount as well by using Chris's code Cusi. And so hopefully, Chris, you'll get that link out somewhere,
Yeah,
wherever
I'll put it in
people
the
are
description.
accessing this. And so that way you can try out, how and see how easy it is to create these AI property videos yourself. We'd love
Sweet.
to have
Hey,
you.
I didn't ask for a code, but we're gonna definitely use it. I appreciate you, sir.
Let's do it. Of course.
All right, thank you for your time. Get back to work. I'm gonna get back to work, and I'll see you on the next one.
Yes, sir. Back to work. See
See
ya.
ya.